What happened to Dauntless? Greed, and the inability to understand why Slayers play the game in the first place have basically killed the game that changed my life. The newest update is a downgrade in almost every conceivable fashion. The only good aspect is the weapon swapping, but even that doesn't feel very good considering the game runs worse. Performance-wise, FPS is tanking, behemoths are lag switching playing on McDonald's Wi-Fi, and players were reset again. And the reset isn't a big deal on paper. But when you look at how much you have to actually invest time-wise to get back to even a semblance of the power you had before, it's awful. You're grinding to have less choice. You can't swap your modifiers and specials on weapons, which means you have to find one you like, use only that weapon, and in most cases, the weapons you're looking to get are going to be behind paywalls or massive time gates. Go ahead and spend 10 weeks doing weekly challenges for 10 tokens you need 100 of to buy a weapon that's really good. Go ahead and buy the Battle Pass, the premium version that no longer gives you platinum on the free track to get really good repeaters. But in time, they'll be on the weapon token store page, which will be 10 weeks as well. They've made it so trials is necessary to upgrade weapons. You also have to do 5 escalations, get 2 gauntlet tokens, have some still marks, and convert a ton of behemoth parts to get the 4th and 5th talent for your weapons. What are talents in the first place? In some cases, the talents are going to be the previous modifiers. Right here we have Overcharged Cylinder for just Eternal Winter Axe. But in other cases, you're grinding for basic stat upgrades, having extra might, which is 10% damage, extra speed, which is 2.5% attack speed. And apparently they decreased attack speed from weapons across the board, or some weapons, namely the pike, that's the one that folks are talking about. And they've also made stamina a bit worse as well. So you're just grinding to have back baseline stats in some cases, maybe a bit above that, but the time investment is crazy. To show you how many behemoth parts it would take, let's do auto recommended. 653 of the Icy Hind scales. To be generous, let's go ahead and use the best material I currently have, which is going to be the purple one. I imagine it's the highest rarity. I want to try and make 15 essences. Mind you, I need 30 minimum for the later tiers. 210 of the rarest style material you can get from a behemoth, which is the blood shards, or shards in this case. For some perspective, it takes you 3 blood soul shards and other parts to max out the Embermane helm. These I do not believe are guaranteed drops, and if they are, you maybe get 1, maximum 2 per kill. The grind here is insurmountable. But wait, it only gets worse because now you have weapon leveling, which by the way, weapons can't be crafted individually. You unlock them through quests and or using your money in the shops, battle pass, what have you, or spending 10 weeks to get 1 weapon from the store. But you're using Aetheryte to upgrade, which I thought would be cool if it was the old way of upgrading, which was getting Aetheryte from doing patrols and pursuits, behemoth parts to make weapons for specific behemoths. That's not what this is. You get Aetheryte from doing some quests here and there, but mostly through bounties, which are a currency you can pay for to have bounty tokens. And you don't get to craft weapons, like I mentioned. So we have far less options in the first place. These are the only axes in the game, I think, currently. The only hammers. There's more than chain blades in this, but I'm not going to buy them. Pikes. As you can see, we have so little choice. And what's worse is you can't change these specials, modifiers, anything on these weapons. What they are is what you get. And some of the better weapons are in the store, because why wouldn't they be? For instance, we have this axe and these repeaters. We have Grim Onslaught, best axe special. Frozen Brand, one of the best unique effects. Determined Strike, a really good axe ability. And the talents are also unique to the weapons too. So these are just giving you less choice because there's going to be ones that are obviously better. The modularity of the old weapons gave players choices. Those are gone. Now back to the whole experience aspect and the time sink. Look at this. I'm only level 40 on this axe. I got back 60 Peerless Aetherite because I played the game a lot beforehand, had a bunch of reforges and whatnot. The Hunt Pass lasts for 39 more days. I bought it out, maxed it out. I had Platinum lying around for the past couple years. The amount of currency I got wouldn't even allow me to get to level 55 on this axe. Because you get Peerless Aetherite from the Battle Pass. With 26 Peerless, which is essentially all you'll get for the next 39 days from the Battle Pass, which is the best place to get it, I go from level 43 to 51. Now, I'll look at the bottom of my screen real quick and look at how much XP it costs. 13,000 right now. I do this in Fusion. We'll just go to the next level, just out of curiosity. So 13,000. Let me tab out, please. It takes me an extra 600 experience. I won't find out, but I've heard level 60 requires the same experience you earned from level 1 all the way to level 59. And just think, that's one weapon. Every build has two, and not to mention there's other weapons to play. The investment to try and have any sense of progression doesn't make any sense here. You can't even get Peerless Aetherite from doing bounties? Oh my great heavens, this is tragic. I do believe that Shining's 1,000 Aetherite, 1,000 experience. Dull is 100. Oh, you're going to be playing this game forever. I'm fighting the highest level monsters I can possibly fight, level 60, and I'm only getting 282 experience per kill. If I have no bounties, that's my only real source of experience. And bounties themselves take a bit to complete because damage is just lower now. Build changes is a big reason why we do less damage. When you're making your builds, you have cells, as always, except you don't get any benefit from a cell unless you have the max amount or more of what it's asking for. If I don't have 6 out of 6 Assassin's Frenzy or more, I don't get the perk active. Before, you used to. You could have 1, it'd be active. 2, 3, 4, it increased the effectiveness, and at 6, you get an extra bonus. Here, you just get what the cell says if you max it out. That's it. And when it comes to cells, they're only going to be +1. There's no +2s or 3s, it's just +1, and if you want to replace the cell, you destroy it. This removes the currently infused cell and destroys it. Cells also got nerfed. Pred was 35% damage, now it's 30, and Overpower was 60% damage, and now it's 30 as well, because Might only gives you 10% per stack. Right down here. 10% damage per stack while positive. We just do less damage across the board. And armor is where most of your cells come from. And that means that you're pigeonholed into less choice, less variety, less options. And that means you just don't really get to have as many fun builds going around, which is a big problem for a hunting game. Builds are what give you more gameplay to mess around with by seeing what folks are coming up with. But now we're going to see folks trying to make what we used to have, but worse. We've also got the removal of lanterns, which may not seem like much, but they were an extra button to press, which was fun. You can make builds that incorporate lanterns, builds that focus only on lanterns. That's gameplay you can no longer really do. And now we have lanterns that are really long cooldowns that are abilities for certain weapons. The broadside lantern, that is for one of the repeaters as their active ability. The core of Dauntless, essentially the soul of the game, is no more. You don't fight behemoths to make their weapons. You don't really fight behemoths to do a whole lot of anything aside from to just keep killing them endlessly. The sense of progression doesn't exist. I look at this game and I don't see anything in it anymore. It's been going down not the greatest path for a while now. Reforge wasn't a great update, but it still had some redeeming qualities. Awakening doesn't. It's awakening the idea that maybe the game's gone forever. I was looking forward to playing the new update, making a whole bunch of guide content for it, because I spent enough time away from the game that I was ready to play it again, even if the update didn't blow my socks off. But in this case, they're trying to suck my soul from the back. I don't think that that's great in this situation. You know what I'm saying? I want to play the video game. I don't want to clock in to play the same thing but worse. And that's what Dauntless Awakening is. The most unfortunate part is all they had to do was add weapon swapping, remove reforging, and implement a better progression system, which we've had 2 of before that were far more enjoyable. The questing system was decent. It was honestly enjoyable. And work on adding new content in the form of mods for weapons, specials, new weapons, new behemoths, improving escalations enjoyability by making it so modifiers and other escalations are fun to go for, just like Violent Impact was. And bring back pursuits. But the problem is they don't really seem to like fun. They're trying to be so strict in a PvE game, which I've seen time and time again now across multiple different genres of games, from the likes of Remnant 2, Helldivers 2. I don't understand what it is with these people and their inability to just see why players play the game in the first place. It's not rocket science. It never will be rocket science. But for Dauntless, it's crazy that if their goal was to make money, they could have put in far less effort and work and have made a lot more money. Give me what we had 3 or 4 days ago before Dauntless Awakening with weapon swapping, and I think the game's better off. And the talent system, but just make it not so egregious in terms of time investment, and I think we're better off. Would it be? Probably not. It wouldn't be insanely well received still, but you wouldn't be having this bad reviews on Steam. Maybe. No, for sure it wouldn't be this bad. You'd make more money too, because you'd have the folks that are loyal to the game, that want it to be fun to play, that have something to do for a little bit, and they'd be happy. But instead, the game's dead. Congratulations. You've practically killed Dauntless. Unless you make some really drastic changes, I don't see that changing. But maybe the goal is to kill the game. Sell the studio, Phoenix Labs in this case, and move on. Because that's the only thing that makes sense, because all of these changes are devoid of anything that players have given feedback for in the past. And apparently the launch screen for the game says they take feedback from community. Which community? The Trials nerds? That's the only community I can think of that would be this clueless. What really killed Dauntless is Phoenix Labs, the studio who makes the game, changing hands to folks that don't care about the game or the community, and their only goal is to make as much money as possible to potentially sell the company, liquidate it, who knows. And in doing so, they've ruined the game. But the insane part is, all they really had to do was focus less on making these insane changes, adding weapon swapping like they did, and folks would have spent more money. They could have done so much less in terms of changes, and people would have been far more inclined to give the game money. That is hilarious to me. Realistically, remove reforging, add a decent progression system, add weapon swapping, that alone, and I think that folks wouldn't be they would be nowhere near as angry. You probably would still have a lot of negativity around the game, sure, because it wouldn't be as awe-inspiring as folks are looking for, but at least it wouldn't be this. This is a rug pull. Maybe it's all just a giant ad for Monster Hunter Wilds. That comes out in a few months. It's going to be a really good time. For folks that want a game to play right now as a hunting genre, try Wild Hearts, but make sure your PC can run it, because it does not perform that great. Really fun game, though. For me, I'll be playing Path of Exile 2 for a while, and other stuff that comes out, like Fortnite, Marvel Rivals, playing some games, trying to have a good time, figuring out what kind of content to make. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Laters. I was excited to play Dauntless, but this isn't the same game. It just has the same name.